Hello and welcome to another weekly episode of the Beer Fridge podcast. On this week's episode, AI takes over.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome to another weekly episode of the Beer Fridge podcast. The home of real beer, real breweries, real opinions. As always, wherever you listen to this episode, make sure you subscribe, hit that ding-a-ling-a-ling to be notified of every single episode. You can show your support by giving us a 5-star rating or give your official support and go to patreon.com/beer Fridge podcast. My name is Gavin. I've got my drinking buddies. I got Carl. I got Scott. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good eve.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Delighted to report that my nipples have stopped bleeding.
Excellent work. That's good of them.
Yeah.
Just still raw. Or-
Gav. Oh, it's because I've been a lazy person since the hop run. I'm blaming my sore ankle, which is now slightly better than it was. But there was many an evening sitting with Sudocrem on my exposed nipple area.
yes.
Well, that is one way to start. Another way to start is to go around the virtual table and see what we're drinking and kick things off.
Let's go around the table.
Right, Nipple Boy, what are you drinking?
I am in the West. Go West. And I'm drinking the first of the burnt mill box that I got last week, and it's called 8 Acre, which is a 6% Amarillo and Simcoe West Coast IPA, and I'm really impressed with the cans so far, just purely by the amount of information that's on these bad boys. Really thorough in talking about the hops and the process and stuff like that. This one is brewed to celebrate their 8th birthday, and it's Centennial Simcoe Columbus in the boil, and then they went Amarillo Simcoe and more Columbus and Centennial in the dry hop. So it's proper, like, pithy, dank citrus flavours, but at the same time you're getting that proper, like, fruity vibe for the Simcoe as well. So perhaps not a West Coast IPA for the purists. Fortunately, he's not here tonight.
Still moving house.
But
Good.
it's really bitter at the back, but there's a really pleasing sweetness at the start, and it's really fruity, which I like. It's more fruit than pine for me, but the bitterness is it really dries out nicely at the end, which is lovely.
Very nice.
And
very
super
nice.
fresh as well. This one's only been in the can since the end of May, 28th of May. This went into the can, so it's not even 4 weeks or 5. I think it's 5. Is that 5 weeks? 5 weeks in the can, so
Very
pretty
good.
fresh still. Lovely.
Super. I am drinking came from your fridge, Cal, incidentally. Stranger's Brewing Lithgow Lager Pilsner, 4.5 percentage pointage, clean and crisp, and it's got a nice kind of. The more it warms up, the more I'm actually enjoying it, because there's almost like a wee hint of, I want to say, like vanilla almost at the back end, the floral kind of bit that comes through. It does.
I
It
found it
says on
quite
it.
malty as well for a lager. I found it really malty, but
There's a bit on the packaging that's saying a distinctive spice, which I don't know if I'm getting or no. It's
Vanilla's
one
a
of those
spice.
things. Like, true. After last week's conversation with the guys on our 101 on beer tasting, it's like you read it and then you find it, because you're seeing it.
Aye.
But it's good. That is, to be fair, it's actually really good. Really enjoying it. It's hitting the mark. It's exactly what I needed right now to kick things off, and I would definitely have it again. Lithgow Lager, and I love that they've done it Lithgow. They're
Aye.
putting one Lithgow. That's good stuff. Good stuff from Strangers, as always. Gilroy?
So following on, you already mentioned our 101 last week. So Jamie, when we were on speaking to the guys, mentioned, had we tried Hambleton Brewery's Nightmare Porter, to which was we answered a resounding no. I went on their web store during the record or just after and ordered myself some. By some, I mean 16. I think 16 bottles, 500ml bottles. Obviously, I have a professor of porters and my dad, so some, almost half, I think, are probably for him, and then the rest I figured I would distribute amongst other, I would say, willing participants in the local area to
If
try.
you can manage to find some.
Yeah, if it was maybe up their Strasse. So this is it's a Nightmare Porter. It's 5%, touted as an excellent example of the style. Plenty of kind of a bit of coffee bitterness, but leaning in more towards the kind of woody, chocolate, sweet, vanilla, treacle, plums, various darker fruits like that, and it's got that in spades. It's incredible. 5%. I will give the guys at Hambleton Brewery massive props on their kind of simplified wackaging. So obviously gives you an indication of how hoppy or naughty it is.
That's good.
And you can tell obviously it's all the way to the grain. So that gives you a good indication as to what type of flavours and stuff you're looking for. There's tons of different malts and that go towards putting it together. It doesn't actually go into great depth on malts available, but reading the kind of wackaging and stuff on the website and stuff, it's lingering treacle, syrupy kind of taste, kind of burnt and bitter elements towards the end, slightly dry on the finish, which make it incredibly moreish, exactly what you want from a nice, refreshing, dare I say, Mr. Muir. Port. It's really moreish, really kind of definitely gone back again and again. The bitterness is really what's probably, I think it's surprising, not surprising, but kind of how moreish it is, despite what's turned into up here's turned into a kind of pretty pleasant evening. I expected it to be kind of more a beer for dark clouds and rain battering on the window, but it's not. It's got that kind of a lovely depth of flavour that kind of changes as you go through. And as it's warming up, it's improving even more. So good shout, an excellent example, and definitely I'll pick up some again, assuming it gets the seal of approval from H.
Have you done the old schnauzer test from the top to the bottom?
It's no, as my nose isn't as good as some others on this podcast. Some of them are here, but
snorkel this.
Definitely has a different. It's got all the different layers of flavour that you're looking for. Everything from sweet to burnt toast, which is exactly what you want. So aroma wise and taste, it's just it's. I was looking at some kind of wackaging stuff on the web and stuff for it, and somebody somewhere found a hint of cheap ice cream, which is one of the kind of most off the wall things. I assume they mean vanilla, but they mean that kind of Neapolitan plastic tub vanilla. Which I'm not sure I would go with that. I would say it's probably pretty natural, but it does have a level of sweetness that maybe goes towards there. So I can kind of see where they're coming from, but it's the fruit and the kind of that kind of burnt, kind of well-fired flavour that really sings. It's brilliant.
Sounds good, mate. Sounds like an excellent recommendation from the guys there. Right then, let's find out what's new in the world of craft beer and the latest news update.
News update.
While the guys furiously Google, I will kick things off with a new beer that's coming out to celebrate the up and coming Oasis gigs from Joseph Holt Brewing Company. They are bringing out a beer called Hop and Roll Star, 4.5% lager.
Of course, it's a fucking lager.
Like if you're going to do it, then do it. I think it makes sense to do it as a lager because then it doesn't necessarily attract just craft beer wanks. It will just sell to anybody. In fairness, so I get it. But Hop and Roll Star hits like the first chord strike at Heaton Park, crisp and loud, and unforgettably bursting with herbal vibes.
Dying of fire.
So this is coming out, I believe, on the 7th of July. It could be, yes, it is, at josephholt.com. So you can go and grab yourself some cans of those if you're interested. See, to be honest, the only reason I would pick up a can is just for the pure, just not even to drink it, whack it on the shelf. And you leave it like 10 years, which I wouldn't drink it after 10 years, but it's easily going to be a collector's item and folk will go daft for it. At some point when they see when they pop the clogs, you could probably sell it and make a few bob. It's probably not the way to buy things, to be honest. But yes, Hop and Roll Star, Joseph Holt Brewing Company. That is coming out 4.5% lager. Gilroy, you've found something.
Well, I highlighted it on the weekend. It's probably kind of local Edinburgh rather than whole industry news. But worth mentioning just because it's a kind of one, it's a departure for the usual, and two, it's a very upper street variant on a kind of not a classic, I would say, but a stalwart up here in Edinburgh, which is the Edinburgh Beer Factory. And I know that's almost a turn off immediately for some, but bear with me. I've decided it would be a good idea to put their Palozzi lager on cask as of that weekend there. So 5.2% Hills Lager on cask at various places in Edinburgh from last weekend there. So this is kind of oldish, but I'm keen to see if anybody among our listenership managed to try it. Is it all gone? Might there still be some somewhere?
Like the inside of the can, even though it's
well, I'm wondering what the flavour profile is like. What's it like? A lager in cask is obviously a rare beast, I would say.
I'll put that
Definitely.
a couple of times, but it's really
we like beers in unpopular formats. West Coast IPAs, for example, in cask as well, and Weird and Wonderful in cask is definitely a format that we enjoy. So I was in places like Cannyman, Ryer's Bar, Guildford, Blue Blazer, Stags, Chukter's and Chukter's Landing as well, and Kay's. So plenty of places in Edinburgh. So if you did get a chance to try it, let us know what it's like. If it was worth the kind of hype that they put on it. Definitely interesting. Golden, bright, brilliantly balanced, cask conditioned Palozzi is packed with a delicate biscuit malt. So I'd imagine it just brings forth all that maltiness and
biscuit base.
In spades is being served in that slightly different format. So interesting. If you had some, or if there's any left, let us know, because I'd quite fancy trying one.
I bet it tasted like Gab's Oasis Lager that's been sitting on the shelf for 10 years.
I don't think so. I think it'll be fresh, footloose, and fancy free. Just whether we get the chance to try it or not. And if it is really good, then I wish it tasted as a decade-old Oasis beer would.
True.
But aye, weird format. Anyway, what other stories have we got?
Well, I've just been looking at new beers, and one made me super excited purely from a nostalgic point of view, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm not sure if anybody knows, but this year marks the silver anniversary of Wylam Brewery. They've been going 25 years at Wylam. And to mark it, they've done a collaboration brew with a little known Cornish brewery called Verdant. Don't know if anybody's ever heard of that. They've done two beers. one is called Comfort Settings. It's an 8% dipper, which is a rebrew of one that they created back in 2021. This is right up our street, I fancy. It's a wheat-heavy New England style. Equinaut, Citra, Azaka, Eldorado, and Sabro.
Nice.
Does that not just want you to fling your money at that?
Mhm.
Then alongside that, they've got a brand new beer. It's called Geometry of Sound, and this is a bit lighter at 6.5%. So it's similar. So Eldorado and Sabro, but then we've got others. Oh, I can't see the rest. That's annoying.
Sabroni.
No, it doesn't say. It just says Eldorado and Sabro down at the dry hop,
Right.
and then it brings in some favourite New Zealand varieties to elevate it. So it doesn't specify. The other new beer that I thought was interesting was one from a brewery that I've never heard of before. It's Blunt Rock. Don't know if you guys have heard of Blunt Rock
No.
Brewery.
No.
But it's an IPA called Pagan Solstice, which I found was right interesting. Obviously, we had our summer solstice on
Yep.
Saturday night.
Mhm.
Saturday night into Sunday, so there was all the weirdos that used to hang about at fucking Stonehenge overnight.
The Druids.
Aye. Sacrifice their children and all that nonsense.
I think they just run about in the scud.
Aye,
Aye.
probably. And sacrifice their wains. This one's Citra,
In the
Simcoe, and
scud.
Chinook. So it's yeah, I would imagine this is more on the west side of things, Citra, Simcoe, and Chinook. So that sounds interesting. And then lastly was the one that I was really excited about. Maybe a little bit controversial given the messages that were exchanged on the group chat earlier on. But this is a re-release of everyone's favourite kosher brewery, Vocation. And they are they're re-releasing their Twisted Orange Sour, which was it was probably one of the gateway beers that got me into craft. I remember back in 2019 when I first sort of started dipping my toe into craft beer, and it was Tesco, and they had the other half collab with Brewdog. They had the Vietnamese stout. What was it called?
Roaster Coaster.
Okay.
And they also had this one, and you'll remember the can. It was a blue can with the orange peel wrapped around
Yep.
it. And it was the blood orange Valencia and blood orange sour. And they're re-releasing that this year, which is really exciting. I'm going to definitely go out of my way to get a can of that to see if it's as good as I remember it being. So
Very nice, very nice. To round things off, and I don't think we mentioned it properly or had the time to mention it between episodes, but obviously we did the hop run, and the donation page stayed up running for about a week or so after. But we finished off, and the grand total that we raised for the Isle and Rowling Clinic was £1,602. So thank you very, very much to everyone that donated, because I think at one point when we were sitting at 550 quid, I was happy with £700, and we absolutely fucking smashed it. So
I mean, I think given that the page was up and running for so long, and it went like 2 months, but it never really moved. It got to like 100 quid or something like that, and it just kind of stayed. And I was like, oh fuck, here we go. And then family got involved, which was amazing. All 4 of our families stepped up big style and put in a hell of a lot of money, which is amazing. But apart from that, it got shared on social media, and folk for people's works, and people that we've never met really have been sending us money and things like that. And it's just I was really emotional at the final total. It was far more than I was ever expecting to raise.
well, when we started, it was sitting at like 1,200 quid, and at one point, I'm sure halfway through, I remember shouting to you. I think it was to you, Cal. We were at 13 or 14, and it just, I think it was 13, and it just it went bananas. So thank you to every single one of you that donated. It means a lot to us, and we appreciate it. And we'll maybe see you next year.
Oh, definitely. I'm doing it next year.
I'm there for the pizza.
Definitely there for the pizza. Definitely. Right, as I mentioned at the start, AI Takeover. Now, usually before the podcast, I'll throw things out in the old kind of group chat of ideas of what we could talk about and stuff. And we'll usually come up with something, and sometimes we'll be running blanks. And then it dawned on me to use the infamous Chat GPT and ask it some questions. And it's came out with some good ideas. And I just thought it'd be a good episode to go through it and just kind of deep dive into how scary all this AI stuff is, because it can literally give you fucking content, it can give you recipes, and it can basically probably run a whole brewery for you if you wanted it to, which is awfully scary. But the one thing it came up with is a kind of room 101 type of thing, the beer bin. So we have to pick one beer style, beer trend, beer habit that deserves to be thrown in the bin. So like I said, kind of room 101 still. We've done it before a while back, but we'll do it once again. Callum, I'll let you kick things off. What would you like to get rid of?
Well, I've come up with a list of pub habits
Oh God.
that I think should be put in the bin. So I think pubs that don't instruct their staff on how to pour drinks properly,
Yeah.
I think should be put in the bin. Don't know about you guys.
You'd say I would, rather than instruct, offer a positive learning environment in which to thrive in your customer service and customer facing role by pouring drinks as they should be and educating the punter or pub goer about what is available.
Or
training,
stand,
I would say.
Or stand behind your staff with a lengthy garden hose and
No. To shout and screaming at the top of your lungs that Guinness is a 2-part pour.
No.
And that the average 80 shilling / best isn't a 2-part pour.
Aye.
Yep.
That's true.
I've got another one. Watching videos on your phone at full volume. I think you should.
Anywhere except your house.
Anyway.
Aye. Even in your house,
even
that's
in
not
your
really
house, not.
acceptable.
But particularly
general.
in a pub setting.
I think that bars that didn't have a good selection of crisps should get. And I'm not talking about fucking Tyrrells or kettle chicken.
He only does the. Callum only eats the extra virgin olive oil M&S number.
No. My, I'm not going to be too pedantic about it, right? Because ideally, what would be the case would be an entire wall for 10p crisps. That'd be amazing.
Absolutely.
But
specifically 10p, like bikers and things like that. Is that your vibe?
Space Raiders, Tangy Toms,
Nah.
Johnny's Onion Rings, all of them. Johnny's Spicy
I would
Rings are
have
the
all,
best.
I would have all the McCoys,
McCoy's. I can totally get on board with that.
Roysters,
Aye.
purely for
Roysters.
intensity of flavour.
There's always a point after a few beers where you want a packet of Thai sweet chili.
Aye. But see these
sizzling king prawn.
See these cunts that sit at a table with you and you come back to the table with 2 bags of crisps and they expect you to do that thing where you open the bag right up and sit it in the middle of the table and share it. Like, no.
I expect you to do that with, like, you can absolutely have your 2-bag kind of horse feed thing that you normally do, but you have to buy 3 bags of crisps. Share one.
What I'll do is I'll go up. I'll get 2 bags of McCoys, and then I'll get a bag of ready salted Golden Wonder and open them up for the table.
I was going to say, if you're talking about going way back, and this is again a local reference, apologies to anybody who lives outside the West Lothian radius, or probably I would say Central Scotland probably is quite a good punt that you've come across. These would be old school Highlander.
Oh yes,
OG real Highlander crisps.
I remember when distribution firm of the family, Drummond, did the distribution for Highlander. The old Jade's Pops used to live across. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it was Pop. Is that Pops or Grandpa? I don't know. Used to live across the road for us, and every week he would come with a fucking bin bag full of Highlander crisps and hand them into us, and that went on for about a year, and it was fucking insane. Like see their tomato sauce flavour and their square sausage and brown sauce flavour crisps were out of this world.
Aye, unsurpassed.
Aye.
Unsurpassed.
And I think lastly is that there should be some sort of test required to establish one's banter level before you are allowed entry into a pub. I mean, it's different if it's like a city centre pub on a Friday night and, you know, it's rammed and all the rest of it. But see, if you're like in a local, you know, quiet pub, you need to have banter skills to be able to come in.
I would say willingness to shut up would be is absolutely my preference, or being able to read the vibe. Like if you come in and there's like it's definitely an up night where there's some chatter and some rattle going on. If you walk in there and it's pretty quiet and folk are having a game at pool and things like that, then you come in and put fucking Scooter on the jukebox.
No, oh Christ, aye.
Like, you know what I mean? That would be read the temperature.
See, the daft thing is, we were like that. We were the people that used to do that when we were going to Corrie.
We were trying to turn it into an up night. We thought we were forerunners, and we weren't. We were just plebs.
Aye, we're playing pool and dominoes with the old guys, and then we go to the jukebox and whack on the fucking Pretty Green Eyes.
That was my input for you know, beer 101.
Go and then go.
So mine would be just right off the top of my head was before you mentioned anything about kind of your list there, Callum, was don't, if the pub so happens to have a jukebox, don't play the same song twice.
Oh, aye. If you've heard it,
that's a cardinal sin. If it's been on, or your jukebox just so happens to have one of those play it again things, don't.
Dinny.
And then also there should be a temperature. Like there should be a list for, like, you have to be a reg to change the vibe. So if whatever's been on, you have to be in similar songs to, or in and amongst that. Is it like there has to be a Venn diagram between what's been on before and there's some sort of crossover between the songs that have been on and the song that you pick. Otherwise, there's a problem. Like you can't jump the I don't know, Roy Orbison to
Sabrina Carpenter.
There's no like that doesn't go. Same way you can't go for Slipknot to Wham. Like go with the vibe.
But you mentioned regulars. You mentioned regulars. Like I hate it when regulars think they own the fucking pub.
Right.
No, I don't mind that. There is a certain level of ownership. It's where it turns where they're no welcoming to other people. I think that's walking in and everybody turns around and looks at you like you don't belong there is quite off-putting.
Right.
I'll probably put that in. And then I guess the other one would be like, don't forget to see if there's something that's known. When you as a bar person know what's known anymore. So when you say what would you like, don't say just what would you like and leave it open, or don't have the pump clip turned round or whatever it is, a glass over it. I don't even handle that loads of times, but you want to be able to say, look, what would you like? Number 8's off.
Aye.
Instead of, and it happened a couple of times we were away as well, where, you can absolutely, or tell the people if there's table service, tell the people that are coming to serve you at the table, we've not got this. And that you didn't get your you don't get your hopes up quite as much as absolutely I'll go and I'll get them for you just now. And you go back and say, number 3's off, can we give you a number 5? And if you do the extra bit on that, if you do have to offer an alternative that's in the same fucking wheelhouse if at all possible. Don't say With no Stella left, how do you fancy a Guinness? Then he like come prepared with viable alternatives. Don't just
Nope.
say what else would you like. And also the other thing, one final thing is if you don't have any of that idea, don't bring a menu with you.
Aye.
Because I looked at the menu for 5 minutes, decided what I wanted, but at the
Aye.
same time, I committed the entire thing to memory. So when you come back and tell me I can't have that, then I'm fucking straight there with an alternative.
What else would you like? What have you got? Don't know. Right, okay.
Oh, good stuff.
Unbelievable.
Good stuff.
I definitely name things that you don't have. Anyway, sorry. What did you have in yours?
No need to apologise. Incidentally, see on the subject of table service over in Amsterdam, I didn't get used to that straight away. I kept going to the bar. I'm like a pleb. And I'm like, no, shit down. I'll come to us. Okay.
Have a sheet.
I'm not needing the toilet, big man. I just want to...
On the topic of snacks, love corn can just fuck off. You need an appointment with a dentist when you buy any of those. Even if you get it free, it should come with a dental receipt straight away.
Aye. Corn
or dental insurance.
Corn offers no nutritional value.
Aye, pointless snack. It's just stick to, as the guy said, Highlander, McCoy's bacon fries. Also, if you're getting bacon fries, you can't just buy one pack. You have to buy two, purely because when you finish the first one,
they should sell. You know what they should do? They should sell you. See how they always have them on the wall in the wee sleeve. They should be able to sell the sleeve, a sleeve at a time.
Sleeve, or what they should do. You know how, like, see if you are like in a hotel and you go for breakfast and all the cornflakes are in that kind of big cylinder, see-through cylinder, and you pull the wee handle. That's how you should
get a bowl,
a wee bowl,
and just turn it. get your bacon fries.
Just for a height, like don't do that thing where you put bowls of nuts out on the bar.
Oh no!
I don't want urine nuts, thanks.
I didn't want to have to roll the dice with other people's levels of hygiene. If I want like wasabi, whatever it is, wasabi peas or salt and pepper cashews or whatever, sell me the wee tubs or give me the wee tubs if you're doing it. Didn't bring me unsealed
or fucking Bombay mix. Fuck.
Aye, like uncovered. Being on the bar and would you like it or not? No, I definitely wouldn't like it or not. Didn't even want anywhere need it because chances are. Being near somebody else's.
Exactly. They're recycled. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, every bar to get rid of the shot option of a baby Guinness. Just no.
Why?
No, thank you. It's just bad experience.
Did you get stung with that? Did you get stung in that queue in Amsterdam a few times?
I got stung with that in Amsterdam.
Ken, what the problem is with baby Guinness that it takes so fucking long for them to pour it. So when you go up to the bar.
Does it take longer than pouring a real Guinness?
Aye. You go
up to the bar. The spoon number, is it?
You go up to the bar and you ask, you're standing waiting, and somebody comes up next to you and says, you feel fucking right, okay, you can go first. I'll have 14 baby Guinnesses, please. Ken, no.
See, I
think shots in a pub setting, shots shouldn't be allowed.
See, the thing is, you're being joking with the 14 shots. Literally, that's what happened.
Aye.
Somebody was like, I'll have to sit. It was 18 baby.
Nah.
I was like, oh fuck.
Give you one round of them, and then every time after that, you're just getting Jägermeister whether you ask for it or not.
Just bogging. Also, if you play golf and you go to the pub, I didn't want to know what your fucking handicap is. Couldn't care less. Don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But that was how you got your free round at Glen Eagles.
Well, that's true. That. But I don't need to know your handicap. I don't need to know.
The good thing about the boy was he made sure you didn't remember what his handicap was. You always got free.
Very true. I didn't need to know how far you can hit a 7-iron.
No, I don't care. You can tell me, like, by all means, tell me where you've played and stuff. Fair enough, but I don't need to know the length of your clubs. That sounded bad. So, yep.
That's them trying to tell you what the length of their.
Exactly. Just you can have golf chat, but I don't need to know your handicap and all that jazz.
What kind of grip do you have on your shaft?
Right. See the thing. I know it's funny.
2 fingers.
I know saying this, and on the Discord, there's a couple of guys that do play golf. And I
They
can't
didn't can roll into Discord with I've gone for carbon fiber this week, chaps. It's like
Right.
I've just
because they
shot.
know they're dealing with 3 or 4 people who
Yeah.
pick the majority of their clubs based on how big is the heat and price from Donny.
Aye,
Donny, of course.
I've just
and
shot
also,
these
didn't
22.
turn up at the pub with your golfing gear on.
Oh,
Unless it's a pub that's attached to a golf course, then didn't
Nah,
turn up
you
at the
can
pub.
come in off the course. Just didn't have your glove on still.
no, didn't have it sticking out your back pocket when you're going to the toilet.
and no surprise to anybody, especially if you listen to last week's podcast or any podcast where I talk about beer styles. Just get rid of Mountain IPA. Surprise, surprise.
Nice.
Go for it.
That's a stalwart. Goes without saying.
Aye. So, I can do without all those things. The main one for me is Love Corn. Love Corn can just.
It's not a snack.
It's just not a
It's
snack.
a salt.
Fucking.
A must abide by rule must be regardless of what time of the year it is, and you can change what it is, but you must always have one dark beer, and it can't other than Guinness.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's certain people will just not come in, or will immediately leave, which is disappointing when they've got a raft of excellent IPAs on, but you can't sit there because there's no dark beer. No dark beer.
No.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That'll be that.
I mentioned at the start there talking about kind of chat GPT and what it can do and stuff, etc. The one thing, like I said, it can do is pull up a full blown recipe for a beer in terms of step by step what ingredients you need. So I literally typed in
Mountain IPA.
A beer recipe designed to be popular and crowd pleasing. It's came out with a balanced, trendy, and drinkable, with a wide appeal to both craft beer newcomers and seasoned hopheads. And it has come up with a citrus crush pale ale. Description being a juicy, it gives you the full package in everything. A hazy, juicy American pale ale with a low bitterness, tropical aroma, and soft mouth feel. Why is it popular? Hazy and juicy. Still a top-selling craft style. Low bitterness makes it accessible for those non-IPA drinkers, and then bitter and citrus and tropical notes for those craft beer wankers like us. And it literally gives you step by step. So batch size is 5 gallons. Going to go for a target ABV or OG of 1.0, which is 5.5 ABV with a 30 IBUs. So,
Christ almighty, you want to throw in any more acronyms?
Genuinely, it gives you everything. Grain bill, pale malt, £8.
IBUs and your ABCs and your fucking
flake oats, wheat malt. What else you got? And it gives you the hop schedule. It's crazy. Hop schedule on the Whirlpool, Citra and Mosaic, 170 degrees Fahrenheit. You want 1 ounce of each, and then you're dry hopping with dry hopping with Citra, and then either you have a choice, Sabro or El Duradu. As the
El Duradu.
Yeast, London Ale or Verdant yeast. Yeah, again, have options. And then it says optional fruit twist. You can add two zest of oranges and a grapefruit.
Tell you what I'll not do.
That exact thing.
Correct.
And it literally gives you fermentate, like how you should ferment it, name ideas and stuff.
No, but see if you're
name ideas. What was it saying you call it?
Name ideas were, trust me to come off it. Citrus Crush, Hazy Days, Fridge Filler Pale, Juice Station 5. I like that. Juice Station. I like Juice Station number 5.
See, if I did that and it was an AI generated beer, I would be at great pains not to call it T1001.
But like
Cyberdyne IPA.
It does kind of pose the question ever so slightly, like how not dangerous, but how much AI could can take over the industry in terms of recipes, in terms of names for beers, coming up with segments for a podcast, so on and so forth. And it's almost at the point where it's not at the point. I maybe being a bit dramatic there, but where it could pretty much run a whole brewery for you if you really wanted it to.
I agree with that,
But
but
it's the same way it can write a country song, like it can write a song. The
Yeah.
songs are pants.
but it still needs somebody to play it and sing it. So it still needs a brewer to take that recipe and deliver on it. Because just because I follow Mary Berry's fucking Victoria Sponge recipe, it doesn't mean that I can make it and it tastes as good as it
That's
should.
not why you follow Mary Berry.
No. By the way, probably would.
Oh no, don't.
No, but you understand what I mean. It's
Eh.
you need somebody to take that and deliver it. So
I suppose the
It
other
takes out the-
variant as well, sorry, Cal, the other variant as well in terms of going through that brewing process is the water profile as well.
well, I mean, it's never they're
never said-
basing that on genetic. But what that'll do, what ChatGPT will probably do is farm a fucking a raft of brewery options
Oh,
and
it's definitely
yeah.
gone through. Like data.
and that takes the legwork out for you because when I was doing my wee stint at home brewing and making recipes and stuff like that, I was just trawling through forums and
Yeah.
chats on Reddit and things like that about people that have brewed a particular style that I liked or whatever. Whereas that takes the hard work out of things and
It also doesn't like you can use it for things like that, and that then you're using it to enhance and
Yeah.
speed up. What it doesn't do, and it never does really well, is how do you correct?
Mm.
I'll give you examples, but I'll not give you exact thing with which experience. There's only experience can give you that.
aye.
Hands-on experience can tell you how to. Because as every brewer that we spoke to will tell you, no two brews are exactly the same, even when you're looking for a consistent result. So you've got to have that level of experience.
And it definitely doesn't give you winning horses either, mind you.
Well, it can. I mean, it can do a lot, but it's not going to. It's like you say, it's not going to actually think like it's not going to go through the whole lot.
So in that and that kind of discussion, then is it a tool? Then we think that breweries should maybe use more often, like you say, because there are variables that need human input. But then should they be potentially using it to help them as well? With regards to like coming up with new style, because I literally I've not specified what style for that recipe to be. I've just said come up with a popular beer recipe style that you can potentially sell, and it's came up with that. So like it's obviously going to be trolling through, like you said, the Google index and seeing what's popular and what's selling. So it's like it could and should be probably used as more of a tool to prop you in the right direction.
Or it could help, like in terms of kit and things like that. We've already seen stuff apply. Like if you're like you rather than set it exact parameters, we've seen it we've saw it with by the river and things like that before, where they had kit that allowed some sort of no automation, but you could kind of set it and not forget it, but monitor it remotely.
Yeah.
Could be used in things like that to say, look, if it ranges between here and here, here's what I want you to do to correct, and have it learn how to correct it. And then it's kind of like having, for those kind of one-man band operations, it gives a level of freedom that might not have been previously experienced. And also it gives you things like, it allows you to narrow the field down to, again, to help with things like corrections and say, look, what would you add? I need to ask as wide a field as possible. What would you add to this to bring it back from this kind of potential off flavor, or I've not got the gravity that I was looking for. What would you suggest here? All that kind of stuff to bring it in to get closer to what you were originally pitching for, and kind of bring it back. It helps you kind of cast a wide net and get a range of answers without spending hours and hours and hours researching, which would just take too. It just wouldn't be feasible. You just need to wing it. So you maybe get a wee bit of forgiveness off it, but in terms of like what I want you to do is cookie cutter me a recipe. You can tell it's cookie cutter immediately. Like not immediately, it might play a good game, but then when you taste it and in the flavour profile and things like that, it's going to be what's popular. It's going to be
Generic.
what has the most hits. It's going to be pretty generic. You're not likely to get art from it. You're
No.
likely to get a good estimation of what's already there.
A base.
Aye.
So as long as you didn't take the suggestions and just implement it verbatim,
Yeah.
you know, you need to be open to take it and run with it and maybe change one or two things and that kind of vibe. So
It's an interesting thing. Is like I said, it's everywhere now. Everyone's using it. It's in fairness, it's the first time I've used it for the podcast. I've used it. The wife uses it a lot in terms of getting ideas for room fucking decorating and shit. What
You
about
have to
that?
make sure you've always got sustainability in mind. I mean, there's literally a chat GPT one coal mine that exists. So you just keep asking it, can you print me off another action figure that looks like somebody that works in a brewery? That's maybe a bit irresponsible.
right. Yeah.
Like I, for instance, was guilty of previous to knowing that asking it for 6 different versions of my dad as an action figure, trying to get the right level of crabbitness. But it was
I would love to see what a
figured it.
chat GPT generated brewery worker looks like.
Oh, fun enough, the other thing that did, so I put in, I did put in, which is quite funny, incidentally, what is the Beerfish podcast?
Oh, I've asked that.
So
But
I've never
I
asked
also
that.
felt really awful afterwards. Like I wanted to throw myself in the sea. Not for the
Yeah.
sustainability thing, but it's like Googling yourself.
No, I
That's
agree.
that's a room 101 item. Never
So
Google yourself.
Yeah.
Or
100%.
you're a nipty or a somebody, or you think you're a somebody. Never do it. It's awful. Guaranteed to
Immediately
be
opens
awful.
up a new window on Google Chrome and Googles yourself.
So the funny thing was,
Google me hen.
obviously Lewis and Nathan from Stuart have been in the podcast that much that Chat GPT believes
Thanks to
that
host it.
yes, that they are a part of the hosting crew. So yeah, shout out to Nathan and Lewis, co-hosts of the Beerfish podcast.
And that's what happens when you've been on too many times.
I mean, they can take over editing responsibilities.
Oh,
That's
no.
on you, Lewis.
Please do.
So, interesting thing. It was quite fun putting in the bits and stuff and typing it and seeing what it came out with. And then, and 9 times out of 10, it comes out with things you already know, etc. But
there was another one you suggested, Gav.
I'm getting there, but I want to make sure.
Sorry. I thought you
I
were
want to
wrapping
make
up.
sure we see what we're drinking now because I seen you open something else,
You did.
Callum.
And I'm happy that I've opened it, particularly on the podcast. Although I'm a little bit sad that our tall bald friend isn't here for me to sing about this beer. So when the guys for Stuart were on pre-hop run, they were talking about new beers coming out, and they mentioned a couple of double IPAs that were going into Aldi.
Yes.
And I've managed to pick them both up, and this is the second one that I've had. The first one was called Citrus Mirage, which was really, really nice. But this one is the other one, the one that I've opened up just now. It's called Cosmic Crush. I think you'll agree it's a pretty funky can.
Very nice.
It's double New England. It's only 7%, so it's probably on the low end. It's on the low end of a double. But
we did go through that. I think it was can you call it a double at 7? And I think it was actually, you know who it was? It was Barney. It was Barney's, sorry, and Ali from Barney's that was we were having the debate about whether a 7% 7% IPA could be called a double, and they went into the OG versions were 7%. Just you can't be content with 7% and went screaming for 8.
It depends where you started. If you started at 3, then fair enough. 3.5.
So this one it's quite an unusual hot bill. It's Galaxy Mosaic, but it's also got Harlequin in there. So shouting out British hops, which is great.
What is that? The UK? That's the UK. Is that the Cascade de Quiv or something, isn't it?
You can Google it while I'm chatting.
Chat GPT.
But when I tasted it before I read the packaging, it was it was really, really fruity, and I got vibes of kind of berries and pineapple, and I was really chuffed with that because when you read the packaging, expect tropical and stone fruit aromas, lol. But then it dives into that. But it says expect blasts of ripe peaches, juicy blueberries, fresh pineapple, and a hint of raspberry. So it's delivering on exactly what it says. It's and for £2 a can, I think it's unbelievable.
Is that what it is? £2?
Aye, £2 a can. So I think it probably lacks a little bit on mouthfeel. It maybe it feels a little bit for me. It's not what a double should feel like in the mouth, but
Yeah.
in terms of flavour, it delivers in spades. And as I say, when you combine that with the £2, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. The only unfortunate thing is that it's a limited edition and it doesn't look like it's going to be hanging around for long. So if you get a chance to pick up Cosmic Crush or Citrus Mirage in Aldi, do it.
I had
I'm
the.
getting my
sorry, go.
AI overview is giving me Harlequin and Mosaic comparisons. So there you go.
I was lucky enough to try that Cosmic Crush at the tap room, and it was, I think it was the
Was that your growler, Phil? Was it?
What? No,
Or did you just try it?
no, I never got a grill. I bought
Never got a growler.
I bought a keg, a mini keg.
Mm.
I should have got a growler.
But you did try a 2/3, did you?
Yes,
The
I did.
Cosmic
And
Crush, I'm sure I got
it was fucking
a
lovely.
sniff.
It was very, very nice. I think it was probably my favourite beer I tried while we were at Stuart's tap room. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very good. What did we have? What was the bottle we had after we finished? Wasn't it Radical Road?
Pie.
Sky Pie.
Pie.
Kai Pie has never tasted that good, by the way, especially after I think it obviously helped with the run, but and the sense
a good
of
beer. I
achievement.
love like Kapai's a really good session beer, an excellent version of that,
fucking
and it brings me back to this. Some of the obviously Nathan and them are out doing the Weird and Wonderful, which everything we've tried this year has been it's knocked our socks off. Whether it be just because it's managed to amp the flavours while not necessarily being our style, or being just like Cosmic Crush, a really good version of itself and what they were going for. But every time we go, I always go back to Kapai, things like Jackback, First World Problems, looking Radical Road. They're unbelievable. We spent me and Mark, when we were up, meant to be ordering pizzas, waiting on one of the controls to come back, just talking about how good it would be if Big Blue made a return, because the can was on the kind of fake window wall art thing that they've got behind the perspex, and we were reminiscing about that. And obviously you had the Not My Buddy.
Well,
Not Your Buddy guy.
Or back into existence, I'm telling you, that's it.
Well, we'll will it into existence. We managed to get, I mean, like I'm saying, the Not Your Buddy was one I didn't expect to make a reappearance or a version 2 of. I didn't expect a sequel of that, and it was excellent, as you said, Carl.
By the way, see at this rate, and Lewis and Nathan, I know you guys listen. See at this rate, we may as well just become the fucking
No, I'm not doing that. Equally, I mean, I'm equidistant between them Barneys and anybody else that's
true. That's
based around Edinburgh.
Very, very true.
Enjoy all of Edinburgh's many wares.
We're spoiled for beer up in Edinburgh wise, 100%, definitely smashing it. It's a vibe. It's the up and coming craft beer city in the UK. Gil, what have you switched over to, if you have?
Oh, I would say classic, but classic just because I've had a few cans of it. I'm having Wilhelm's Brothers from Aloha's Craft Lager, and it's perfectly pleasant, easy drinking. It's at the correct temperature, because I went through the absolute bugbear process, the worst thing in the world, of defrosting my beer fridge. It's got a freezer compartment in it, which is where the cooling element of the fridge is kept, and it was to say it was iced up was an understatement. So I was there with my bowl full of freshly boiled kettle water, and let it sit in there with some towels underneath it, which was a Hot Point YouTube channel thing. and worked incredibly well. Like within, I would say maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh.
I had defrosted, just switched it off. Obviously, pulled the plug out, emptied all the beers into a bag for life, and then put the kind of mixing bowl of just boiled water in there and shut the door. Left it for an hour and came back and it was all away.
Oh, nice.
Straight into the towels in the wash machine. That was it, done. No mess, no fuss.
Beer
Great
chilled
idea.
properly.
Yes, and then beer chilled properly. I didn't put it on quite as high a setting, just trying to stop it from icing up again. This lager's pretty much at the perfect temperature. Others in this home would say it was too warm, but it's perfect.
Good stuff, mate.
For some others in this home, lagers have got to be served almost as a slush.
Second beverage of the podcast is from Harbour and their exclusive range collaboration, whatever they're calling it. In fact, they're calling it Collab Collection with Asda.
Who they collabed with on your...
So it's Asda and Harbour. It's literally that is the collab.
Literally, they asked somebody for Asda, what do you want in a beer?
Yes. So it's not really a collab because it's beyond. They're not going to fucking put.
No, I mean, with the stone stuff, the Asda beer buyer isn't. They're not a million miles away a lot of the time, so I'd quite like to get their input on a beer.
To be fair, I said this a couple of weeks ago. The Asda craft beer range is like potentially the best at the moment. Obviously, you need to go to big and large stores to get the most of it. However, this is a West Coast double IPA at 8%. So they've obviously noted that craft beer wanks will say that a double needs to be 8, which we know it kind of. We would say it. We normally say it does, but then when
for a bottle club, it definitely does now.
Aye.
I think that's the going rate, but that's thanks to folk like Verdant, Track, Overtone, things like that. That's become the norm. Like we say, it used to not be quite as a rarity for a 7% double IPA to be out there in the ether.
It's a decent Westie, in fairness. Chinook, Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe, so all the C's that you'd be expecting from a West Coast beer. It's. So I've not had it icy cold. So in fact, in fairness, I'd probably rather not have it icy cold because I wouldn't get what I'm getting from it. But it is kind of resin enough. It's piney enough. It does everything just enough to go, yeah, it's a Westie, and you go, fair enough. The 8% is hidden relatively well, in fairness. Will I buy it again? I don't know, but I'm not too sure. Potentially, but there's better West Coast on the shelf that I would probably rather have, including like Sierra Nevada or even the one I've just opened, which isn't 8%, it's 6.5%, and it's the Northern Monks rendition of Sierra Nevada called Beyond, which is a classic IPA, which neither says it's West Coast or East Coast, it just says citrus and piney, which is exactly what it is. I still need to do the taste test between that and Sierra Nevada. Every time I have it, I keep forgetting to fucking do it, which is really annoying. But aye, Harbour one, it's good. Would I buy it when there's Sierra Nevada and the Northern Monk there? Probably not. So if you've got the option, just if Sierra Nevada's there and you want a West Coast, just fucking pick that up. That's the best advice I could give you there, to be honest. But it's fine. If you want to see what it's like and have a go yourself, fair enough. We are lucky down in England, you get the 4 for 3. So it is what it is. Is what it is. Wah, wah. So yes, the other segment, or whatever you want to call it, that Chat GPT threw up for us was Shelf of Shame. We have to a beer that has been sitting in your fridge the longest and the reason why.
Well, that's easy.
Mr. Muir.
Well, I've got two
contenders.
And I have. Aye. The first is from about a year ago, and it's Fierce and Friends, and it's a collaboration with Neon Raptor, and it's a German chocolate cake stout.
That is Black Forest Gateau, is it not?
6%, so it boasts chocolate, pecan, coconut.
Pecan.
And I'll be honest, I bought every single one of the Fierce and Friends when they were in Aldi, but I've just this went to Cornwall with me. I bought it up here, and it travelled in the back of the caravan all the way down to Cornwall, and sat in Cornwall for a fortnight, and then travelled all the way back up the road with me, and it's been in the fridge ever since. And I don't really know why. It's like every time I've went in, even when the fridge has got down to like the darkest depths of despair, which oft happens with me, the stocks dwindle down to the merest amounts, and I've just never felt the inclination to open it and drink it. And the same with the other. And as I say, I don't really know why, because this brewery is one that we had on the podcast and loved, and I've had their beers since and loved, and it's Powder Monkey. And this one is called Yuletide, and it's
Oh, I know
Christmas
why,
porter.
because you're waiting for the season.
No, but the problem is, Scott, that there's been 2 Christmases, pretty much.
But that's because you've always got new beers at Christmas time. So
But
that
this beer went out of date. This beer went out of date on the 21st of
when Santa was a laddie.
21st of November 2024, which indicates that it was a Christmas beer made for Christmas 2023. And so we've had Christmas 23 and Christmas 24, and that's been sitting in my fridge the whole time. So
Maturing.
Well, I would say aging, but I've got things in my I've got a nice Wasted Degrees barley wine, and I've got a fierce, very big moose rum barrel aged that's been sitting for probably longer than that in my fridge. But that's not shameful in the slightest. That's
No.
sharing beers that I'm waiting to open on a special occasion. But I really don't know why I've not drank these beers. I should probably open one, but no, I don't think I will.
I've got a fair fucking few. The ones that have been there the
Any that have any
longest.
stouts?
Yes, there's plenty of stouts, and then there's sours. I'll kick off with sours, and it'll be I've got 4 Vault City sours.
Joe, if the off chance that you're listening, Joe, just turn off now or skip forward 5 minutes.
In fairness, though, they're the first. If you recall, maybe 4 years ago, when Vault City first went into Tesco. Maybe it's 3 years ago.
Aye.
Anyway, and they brought those beers out: Tropical Sour and the Raspberry Sour. So both renditions, both beers that went into supermarkets in Tesco. I've got 2 bottles of each.
When did they go out of date?
I'm trying to figure out, and I can't see. Oh no, there it is. The 5th of May 2023 for the Tropical Sour, and the 12th of April 2023. So yeah, they're out of date.
I can beat you.
2 years.
By a fair,
I can beat you on that.
The reason why there's no reason why I haven't drank them, and fun enough again to the distributing company of the podcast, they were collected via there. So, yes, I've got 2 bottles of each for no reason at all. Not drink the reason there's no reason why I haven't drank them, and they're probably never going to get touched. They're just going to sit there. To be fair, I do have a stout, and I'll tell you more about that after I hear Gil's first.
Well, mine is in that very wheelhouse, and it's here and it's still here, because mainly of fear. So it's more so the shelf of shame is my own, if that makes sense. This has been here. This beer was brewed on the 10th of November, 2021, or canned on produced
Grand.
on PO. So it's got the best before was the 10th of August 2022. It is a beer called Smoky Joe,
Oh no.
and it's brewed by Overtone. It is a collaboration between
no.
Overtone Brewing and Big Pete. And as
Can
far
you
as I'm
just watch it?
concerned, Big Pete can keep his Pete elsewhere.
Give us watch the can.
As the can.
Ooh,
Can looks nice.
can's quality.
Mm.
Smoky.
That's the
Smoke.
stuff
Smoke
inside
is
the
no fucking
can that's
business
risky.
being in a beer. See,
Yeah, well, you weren't there to back me up when the Alaskan. Well, there was no calls to back me up on the Alaskan brewing smoked porter. The reason
Yeah.
is because if I wanted sausages in my beer, I would put a bratwurst in my Coors Light. But
if I wanted fucking TCP, I would go to the chemist.
exactly. So it's fear mainly my own, and I would. It was for the first 12 months in a camp whereby it was a beer to share, but there's been sharing opportunities with the other dark beer drinker, and they've
Plenty.
never made it on the pitch. It's never even been it's never even been stripped.
Does Chewy like
It's been
peaty whiskey?
no, but it's dark beer and it's 11%. I assume it would be welcome to an extent, and it's
Stick it in
it's
his
not.
Christmas box this year. I'll not even notice the date.
Oh, absolutely not. No, I wouldn't. The only person I would give it to is maybe Gav. Just once he's about 8 deep.
Well,
See if he would like it, and it would end his evening almost immediately, which would be good fun. What have you got? You got another Overtone?
this is why when you said Overton, I was
Overtone
like, oh
stouts,
no.
man. Only surpassed by Overtone's attempt at sours. I just didn't understand why they ever bother.
Coconut slice, Overtone, 8%. It was a coconut slice sour, so it's still a sour.
Oh, aye. That's the absolute epitome of things that give me the fear. Is Overtone sours like no way?
Because sour coconuts is just something that I see the number of times I'm sitting and I think to myself, I could fucking go a sour coconut.
So this pastry sour is inspired by a coconut slice cake with a biscuity base and layers of coconut cream, coconut flake, and a raspberry jam swirl.
Well, right, okay. So the raspberry's supposed to be the sour bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's different for taking a waft of your coconut slice that's been in the fridge for 3 or 4 or 5 days too long, and wondering whether the cream's now yogurt.
Aye.
Date wise, it was brewed the back end of 2022, and the best before is 2020. The end. I can't read it properly, but it's the back of 2023. I'm assuming. So yes, that's never
bad.
Unless when you guys come down, you want to open it, then by all means. But it's
we'll definitely open it.
Aye.
100%. We'll need to help you.
Got any stubborn? You got any stubborn weeds in the back garden that you're wanting to take care of? That'll sort it out.
If we get the opportunity, that's where we should try and record that, the kind of the shelf of shame beers, and we can try them and answer that question that's been long plaguing us.
Well, there's two beers that are going to become shelf of shame beers. Lucky enough, you guys are coming down, so they'll evidently get drank before then. But if you weren't, it would easily become shelf of shame. If you've seen our social media, our Instagram or Facebook, you would have seen the Tiny Rebel and the 28 year later collaboration. Just watch the film.
Beers with your own money.
No, I was kindly gifted them from Tiny Rebel. So nice. Thank you to Tiny Rebel. Yeah, just watch the film. Just don't worry about the beers. Just watch the film.
Does it taste like it's been in a zombie's armpit for a while?
So the pineapple one, I can get on board with a wee bit. It was a blood orange thingy that I was like, no. In fairness, and I'll backtrack ever so slightly. When you open the box, it says they can be mixed, and it does say to add. I think it says about adding like a spirit in it as well, so it's almost like a cocktail. So just maybe just do that bit. I'm sure it will make it taste all right, but I don't buy them. I wouldn't buy them individually if I'm being honest with you.
A bit gimmicky then, do you think?
100%. But fuck me, like, I mean, Christ, there's my camera. Like you can kind of see it. There's the
No, the
glass.
glass
I
was
wrote.
cool. You sent the picture. You sent
Like
the picture of the
Yeah,
glass.
It's
it
pretty
was-
nice glass
aye,
and stuff.
and
The can art is tremendous. The can art looks wicked. The box is
the
awesome.
setup that you sent, obviously, you taken the picture of the box with
Yeah.
the glass and the two cans and stuff, and it looks wicked. And you
Right,
can see it there.
There's the box up there. So
It looks wicked. And it's just a maybe. Is it maybe just a beer for the casual beer drinker, or
No, no. Yeah, see, to be honest with you, I don't think. See, you need to be somebody who does like craft beer for those beers. Just and you can't. It's no like you can't go. Oh, I love zombie films and I drink lager and jump on those. You'll no finish them. Genuinely. The pineapple. I think it's a pineapple IPA. I think it's called. I could be wrong. Pineapple pale. Excuse me. And it is pineapple. 100%. You can like. There's no fucking second guessing that. It's the blood
such
orange
a
one.
tricky flavour in beer, though, isn't it?
I know
Really?
but it's stupid. It's overly sweet. So light. The body in both beers is really light, and granted, both beers are like 4%, 4.2. So, but I mean, the casing, the kind of collaboration with a film, I think is really wicked. I would love to know how they got that that collab because that is really cool. And I guarantee anybody who's got an Instagram or a any social media, TikTok, you would have 100% seen the box.
It's an
'cause
instant
it's
sellout, really,
everywhere.
isn't it? You know, just purely
Oh,
because
yeah.
of how it looks and as you say, the merch line. And you know, it's got Instagram's going to be completely full of it. So
Everywhere.
that's a win in itself.
In fairness, they kindly sent me two. So that one there up, if you're watching above me, is empty. And I've got another box just as a display, which will evidently get cracked when you guys come down for your guys' opinion, and then no doubt one of you will steal the glass, Callum.
Well, I'm not be able to take it on the plane.
True that. What a shame. I'll just have to have two.
Stick
But
it
no,
up my arse. Get it on the plane that way.
but no.
Well-
Aye, fuck, Jesus.
I love making comments and then you being unable to speak after.
No, you throws me off, to be honest. I'm like, what next? What am I doing next? No idea. So I just watch the film. In fairness, we finished Shelf of Shame, didn't we? We did.
We did.
Yes.
Certainly did. We did. There's plenty on my shelf. That you stout wise, I'll make sure it's in the fridge. Oh, there's a thought, and there's what I'm thinking, and this is probably not even. In fact, forget it. I'll do it off recording because it's 100% not a topic for recording. But what I will say is, whenever you've listened to this episode, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell, the ding-a-ling-a-ling, to be notified of every single episode. Please show your support and give us a 5-star rating. You can show your official support by going to patreon.com/beer for Ridge Podcast. All the details will be in the description. For myself and the boys, until next time, cheerio.
Toodaloo.